Welcome. This is our instructional video on building management networks. So we're going to find our first management switch, which is our smaller management switch from the large data center instructional video, the one with 16 connections. So we just grab that, as you'll see here, then we just drag it to the center, and then all we do is remove connections that are not directly connected from the remote switch back to the management switch. Basically what we're going to do is just leave the management network diagram is going to be, we're just going to leave connections from the switches connected to the management switch back to, from that switch back to the management switch only. And you'll see for this particular diagram with 16 connections, all done in about a minute. Good to go. And then we move on to the next management diagram, which will be that bigger one with 53 connections. So you see how quick and easy that is. It's a nice, beautiful management network diagram. So now we're going to find the switch with 53 connections and bring it in. And it'll take, of course, because this one has a lot of connections, you got to be patient. It'll take a minute or so before Visio is able to draw it onto the diagram with all the connections. And these two management switches are the two management switches referenced in the advanced usage building large diagrams, the methodologies and recommended approaches. And there we go. So what we're doing is we're going to just drag that management switch, which of course you can always tell what your root device is, i.e. in this one, the management switch by the green circle around it. So we're just dragging it to the center. And again, you have to be patient because it's just, CPU cycles are chugging away. So it takes a little bit of time, not only to grab it and drag it, and then once you drag it, for it to get it in place. So now what we're going to do is we'll actually, again, we're not going to spend an incredible amount of time making this look 100%, but we're just going to show you process and methodology. So you see, we're just highlighting all these connectors that are interconnects between the switches that are not connections from those switches back to the management switch. So all we want in the end for a management diagram is the connection from the management switch to the remote device. So we're just hitting left clicking and right clicking and with the control button and highlighting them all at once to do it in a rapid fashion, and then just deleting those connections. So you see how quick this happens. And we'll actually just be back in a moment once it's done, and we'll see you in a moment. All right, we're back. Only a few seconds later, but now we're just doing a little bit of cleanup here and creating a little bit of separation so we can find these connectors that are hard to see going between switches that are not connections back to the management switch. So as we start to create more separation, we'll see more of these switch-to-switch connections reveal themselves. And again, this is a fairly quick process, probably under 5 minutes in this video. But what it would actually be is roughly, I would say probably, for a big diagram like this, it might take 15 minutes. And then that way, you can put like an ellipse object or a round circle around the centered management switch, and that way it'd give you a frame of reference to move all the remote switches in a nice symmetrical way around it and create enough separation and make it look nice and pretty. But that's it. Then what we're going to do last is we're just going to, you can do this or not do it, but what we're going to do here is just blow up this center switch and blow it up big enough so you can actually see all the interfaces, port numbers interface/port numbers clearly around here, for all 53 connections. And the same thing, because there's so many connections, when you highlight it and go to expand it and increase the size of that switch object, you just got to be patient. Drag it and you can see it. You got to wait for it to respond. You'll see it eventually responds, and then that's basically it. So as you see, we're just expanding it so it's big enough that you can actually clearly see all of the 53 ports that are connected to the remote switches. And that is it for you see how easy that is to build management networks. Thank you.